Well, hello there, and welcome to the living room of the dollhouse for another reading from The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and Hugh Stelfers for November 21st, the Day of Elegance. That's right. Here at the top of the page is a visual representation of the Day of Elegance. Can you guess what it might be? Oh, you might be close. Boom. It's what I think is a perfume bottle, and it's like a pinstriped pad there. It kind of looks like wood, but it's too consistent with the grains. I think it's a pinstripe pad of some sort. In any event, it is. That speak to the Day of Elegance. Who's to say? But maybe we'll make some connotations as we go with the read. That being said, not altogether too important. But what is important, it's November 21st. And so that means it's someone's birthday today. That's right. Is it November 21st and it's your birthday today? Well, if it is, I just want to say to you, happy birthday. That's what's important here. Me wishing you a happy birthday. But if this video finds you late, as things sometimes tend to do, you're probably a busy individual. I just want to say, I hope you had a happy birthday if that's the case. In any event, a lot of times there's other folks that drop in too who it isn't their birthday, and if that's the case, I just want to say hello, welcome, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Now, before I dive in with the birthday redirect, something I like to do around these here parts, and that's roll some dice. It is the DykASSt a birthday broadcast, so I like to roll some dice, live up to the namesake, but I do so more importantly with a purpose. For synchronicity's sake. That's right. Here I rolled a 1 and a 3 for a 4. All right. Now, what is synchronicity, you're probably wondering? Well, it's just you getting out into the world and letting the universe show you it's with you on your path. And you do that by finding a mutually agreed upon sign by which you can look for, and kind of ascribe meaning to. Like, hey, that's the universe telling me to go that way. Or, hey, there it goes. There's the universe. I need to jump on that. And you do that, hey, might as well do that with some numbers, right? Now, you don't have to go with the numbers I rolled for you. You 1 and you 3 for a 4. The intention's there, but you can roll your own. But even if you do go with mine, it's probably advisable you take your own set of dice. And why do I say that? Well, you can ascribe directional values to number sets. Also, set time limits with which to go in those directions. But say you pick your starting point, you lead out with your direction, your time limit, you reach the end of that time limit. What do I do now? Well, you look for your signs. You stay eagle-eyed. Do that while you're walking, too. You might just see things start to creep up. Hey, I need to maybe go in this direction, even though my time limit's not up. Hey, go on instinct. But let's say you reach the end of your time limit. And, what do you do then? You look for your signs, like I said. But maybe there's no numbers to be found. I don't know. Maybe look for anomalies. That's right. You might start to see things line up in a kind of theme type thing. Maybe you just start seeing like perfume ads. That's right. We had a bottle of perfume as the representational image, didn't we? Hey, you may see more than 1 or 2 of them start to creep up kind of randomly. Start chasing them down. I'm telling you, you see a I don't know, maybe a bus with a perfume ad on the side of it. Charlize Theron and her Dior bottle there, I think is what it was. Hey, maybe roll yourself a little bit of a time value there. Go in the direction of that bus. That's right. And then when you reach the end of that, hey, maybe you just so happen to have caught that bus. And it happens to be, well, maybe it's the number 13 line there. Or 31, perhaps. Who's to say? Hit your numbers. Give it a little bit of, credence there. Maybe you don't ride the bus and you really don't want to get on there. But you know what? Maybe you just so happen to have a perfect change in your pocket for a little bit more synchronicity there. Jump on there, see what you see. This is a day to let the universe kind of take the wheel, if you like. Maybe roll yourself a time value, or maybe you find that you roll up to a number for stop on the next one. Hey, you know what? I would use that as a sign to get off because you don't want to be on the bus. The universe probably knows that and will abide for you. But you know what? Maybe it just happened to take you and put you in front of a building with a 13 or 31, go with 31 in the address. And you know what it is? Maybe it's a perfume shop. Like I said, maybe the theme starts to take over. So go on in there. Maybe you're not in the market for a new frag, but you know what? This is the day. You got to go after your signs. You step in, the person says, how can I help you? What do you want to smell today? And you're like, you know what? I'm not really here for fragrance, but you choose. I'm going to leave it up to the gods, if you like. And maybe they find something for you. And you know what? Maybe it's your new favorite scent. You never know. And even if you can't afford it on your birthday, at least you know for the future. That's right. Or maybe you tell them I'm not here for anything, just synchronicity. And they go, what are you talking about? Maybe you show them this video. And you know what? I often use this theme, but maybe it just so happens to be their birthday too. And you just made a new friend. You know what? That could be all it was for. you meeting somebody new. That's right. Maybe they share your birthday. Who's to say? Maybe. I think you get the idea with synchronicity there. So get out there, see, taste, touch, and feel the magic, as I like to say. And at the very least, at least you're getting your steps in. That's right. In any event, let's dive into it, shall we? Your month is November. Your day, the 21st. Your sign is, let me look here, 28 degrees Scorpio to 0 degrees Sagittarius of the Scorpio-Sagittarius cusp. And your quality and element is fixed water. Well, all right, November 21st, the day of elegance. Those born on November 21 have a feeling for natural grace and elegance, whether it be expressed in their bearing and body language or through the production of appreciation of highly polished ideas and products. And those born on this day are extremely interested in what is most up to date in society around them, and have little time for old-fashioned thinking. Yet they are quick to sense the value in forgotten techniques and ideas which can be revived and given a distinctly modern twist. Thus, November 21 people often find themselves on the cutting edge of a deeply established tradition. Indeed, they may experience great conflicts with the preceding generation, most often their parents, it says in parentheticals, who cannot see cannot see the sense, in what they are doing. If it takes a lifetime, November 21 people have to prove to their detractors, and indeed to the world, that their personal vision was correct. Early in life, November 21 people often make damaging mistakes of judgment. Particularly in their first 28 years, they may display self-destructive rebelliousness, a lack of direction, and general uncertainty of purpose. Compared to friends and colleagues they see around them, it says in parentheticals. Yet they carry a strong sense of pride and identity with them, and they always learn from their mistakes. One danger, however, is that those born on this day can become hardened through the knocks they receive from life. A physically elegant November 21 person can grow cooler and sleeker on the outside and virtually impenetrable emotionally, while a mentally elegant type may become increasingly mercenary, concerned only with those ideas that work in a practical sense. Both types tend to eradicate any weakness in either appearance or method, which can lead to defeat or failure. And the problem is that such November 21 people may lose some of their sportiveness, creative flair, and a sense of childlike play as they learn more about how not to be hurt. They must therefore beware of closing themselves off to chance happenings and to fun in their quest for perfection and success. That is, forgetting the simpler past. November 21 people are intimately involved with the workings of the world, and so may neglect the real study of themselves at a deep level. It is important that by their early 40s, the midlife period, they know what their relationship to the world is. And this involves developing transparency and freeing themselves of fears and rigid poses. If over the years they have painstakingly built up a perfect outer fortress, physically or mentally, they may have to learn again to be childlike and vulnerable. Only in this way will they be able to bring their inner being in tune with the world around them, which is their best hope for lasting success and happiness. All right, how about that for a pretty well-rounded birthday breakdown? All right, let's dive into some notes. I'd like to provide a little bit of a commentary, if you like, on what we just read. Maybe make some connections with things on days preceding, or maybe even periods, who's to say. But let's dive into it, shall we? November 21, the Day of Elegance. You have a feeling for natural grace as well as elegance that can be realized by your physical presentation or in your works. All right, you're extremely interested in what's up to date with little regard for the old-fashioned. All right, which is a little bit different than other folks with this particular quality. Not particularly common, as it were, but it does pop up here and there. But those folks, they tend to have a real traditional mind, right? Although they want to kind of like spur things and change them up a little bit. And they said you tend to hold on to this tradition when it presents, interestingly. But then the reading mentions that you still appreciate the forgotten ideas, but wanting to give them a modern twist. Some of those other folks are really hammered down on tradition. And I think for you, it's a little bit different, the way I interpret it anyway. But it says you don't forget those traditions. Let's see here. What else we got here? So maybe you don't completely buck the trend, but you do it a little bit different, the way I read it. Either way, it sounds as though you have your work cut out for you trying to prove yourself to detractors, okay? And that might be a little bit more specific for you, for whatever particular reason. But hard as it is for me to do, but easy to say, I say, keep pressing on with your vision, with your creative and individualistic image, all right? And put your concern for other people's approval where it belongs, all right? And that's out on the curb so it can be picked up and taken away with the other trash. That's right. Keep pressing on. Do what you do. Even if you feel down in the dumps, get a little bit of something done, all right? Even if that means pouring yourself out of bed, getting in a shower so you can pour yourself right back in, all right? Baby steps. That's right. That said, the reading furthers that you may make damaging mistakes in your early years, all right, in the form of self-destructive rebelliousness and a lack of purpose, all right. But with pride of identity and an ability to learn from your experiences, it sounds to me like the perfect opportunity to further shape your character, okay? And also understand the aspects of life that other people who don't struggle may not be able to appreciate or, bring themselves to know about, all right? If you got that stuff as experience, you know what? It's just further, foundation for a character that's well built. Those other folks, they don't have that, you know what? They're a little bit shallower, if you like. In any event, what else do I have to say here? Shape your character and understand the aspects of life that other people who don't struggle aren't afforded. All right. Just don't get hardened to the point of cynicism, I would say. All right. Get hardened to the struggle. That's right. Don't let it affect you. You affect it. Okay. What else do I have here? I appreciate that the reading examines several ways in which you may approach these pitfalls. Pretty numerous, big part of the reading, so I'm not going to dive into it. But then it expresses what might be sacrificed in the childlike sense of play and sense of curiosity in particular were what came to my mind right when I read it, before it even reached that point in the book and said as much. Let's see what I have here. What with the people born yesterday having that trait also, at least the childlike facet. So I figured that might be a little bit of a carryover. Though you guys do approach it differently. I don't think that said they get rid of theirs. It says you might sacrifice it. But maybe that isn't important to you, who's to say, but I thought I'd mention it because, I don't know, it's important to me. And I think we have to approach a little bit of childlike wonder in this world to stay happy, right? But a well-rounded breakdown notwithstanding, I'm in total agreement with being in harmony with life, all right? And for that includes a little bit of silliness, like I said, with the childlike wonder. Hard as so many things tend to be. I think it works out great if you can just be able to laugh at things. So I think that kind of dovetails into the childlike wonder, if you like. In any event, that's been the breakdown of what I had to say about it. Let's move on to your numbers and your planets. All right. Those born on the 21st of the month are ruled by the number 3, as 2 + 1 = 3, and by the expansive planet Jupiter. And those ruled by the number 3 are ambitious and sometimes dictatorial. And the number 21, which is your birth date, often indicates physical beauty, and this may be particularly true of November 21 women. And the double influence of Jupiter, the ruler of Sagittarius and of the number 3, lends to an expansive attitude toward the world. But Pluto's influence as Scorpio's ruler lends November 21 energy, a dark, passionate quality. All right, Rather sparse numbers and planet entry, but that doesn't mean it wasn't highly personalized. They really highly personalized this one for you, as small as it was. But what do I have to say here? Jupiter in the number 3 for qualities of ambition and sometimes dictatorial attitude, all right? The number 21 for physical beauty, apparently, which is interesting because numbers are not always given much focus, especially the bigger ones there. At least in other periods they're not. This particular period, they've been drilling down on them a little bit, even if only a sparse mention. So maybe look into that yourself with the numerology, the number 21. So that's something I found a little bit interesting. But the double rulership, thanks to your cusp zodiac period, lending a more expansive attitude, apparently, with your rulership of Jupiter. At least towards the world is your expansive attitude, it said. Whatever that means, I'm not quite sure. But you also have Pluto for your dark, passionate quality, from the planet of a shadowy nature, as it's said elsewhere, which concerns they warn against for money, sex, and power. They didn't say that here in your entry there, but it is in the book. But there are no mentions of Mars and its god of war-like energy, and that's the co-rulership of Scorpio there. So they haven't been mentioning Mars the past few days. Maybe it's starting to kind of come out of alignment a little bit. I don't know. I'm not an astrologer myself. I just kind of dive into this stuff, try to remember what I read earlier. But maybe it owes to your early rebelliousness, the old Mars energy there, and your danger towards cynicism. I don't know, there's no telling, but it kind of sounds like some God of War energy to me. That said, that's kind of what I had to say about your numbers and your planets. So let's move on to your tarot. That's right, your tarot, one of the more eclectic of the New Age metaphysical ideologies, but it's your birthday. It's here in the book. We don't have to take it home and start dealing out the cards to predict our future, or however tarot cards are used. So let's see what it has to say. All right. The 21st card of the major arcana is the World, which depicts a goddess running with energy-giving rods in her hands. Now, she surmounts the world and displays the truth, and she has unlimited power. And the card symbolizes all that is attainable on the earthly plane. And although reward and integrity are assured, traditionally, the card can also indicate monumental obstacles and setbacks of fortune, as well as negative traits of distraction and self-pity. Well, all right. A little bit of a copy-paste job here with, what am I saying, a little bit? I think the whole thing was a copy-paste job for the tarot. They didn't really personalize it for you, but I wrote quite a bit. Let's see what I had to say here. The World, a once-a-month card, all right? Sometimes these get repeated, not this one, so it's personalized for you in that way. The goddess with her life-giving rods, which symbolizes all that is attainable on the earthly plane. It can also be taken to indicate obstacles and setbacks, and the negatives of distraction and self-pity. And I'd be apt to say that this largely seems to inform your breakdown, at least as it was presented. But I could also see it applying pretty much universally to almost anyone. I don't think I've ever really related that while discussing this particular card, but it just kind of occurred to me that it seems kind of generic in a way. But perhaps the negatives in particular are something to be focused on, at least, and reiterated. All right. Remember your ambition and don't get mired down in the distraction or in self-pity. All right. Particularly if you're in a place that you can't figure out what to do with your life. All right. Like I said, keep pressing forward. Okay. In your pursuit to find it. It's a full-time job. It's not easy for a lot of us. I mean, maybe it's easy for some folks, but who's to say? They might change mid-course or something. And you know what? We don't need to be concerned with other people. You just got to be concerned with yourself. They said earlier, like, you might not know what you got to do when everybody else seems to have their life on track. How about that? I segued right into it without even thinking about it. Don't worry about it. Just keep pressing. At the end of the day, you can lay down and know at least I gave it a shot, right? I got out of bed and I did more than just take a shower and pour myself back in. That's right. You can rest easy in that regard. In the event, that's been your tarot and kind of what I had to say about it. Let's move on to your health. All right, your health. November 21 people are sensitive to their environment and may therefore suffer from allergies. In addition, they are emotionally labile, perhaps, and they have a low threshold for irritation. Family and friends may at times be concerned about their mental health, since those born on this day can become depressed, self-hurtful, and frustrated when they do not get the attention they need. Exercise of a more social and public nature, from Sunday walks to swimming and team sports, will do them good in the long run. Sexual satisfaction is extremely important to those born on this day, it says, and on a regular basis, it says in parentheticals, but particularly for those without a regular partner. Care should be taken where sexually transmissible diseases are concerned. I wonder what sexually transmutable diseases would be realized as. In any event, November 21 women should have a regular gynecological examination, and November 21 men are well advised to have their prostates checked periodically with advancing age. All right. They don't often examine the sexually transmitted diseases. I think it's only come up 3 other times in the 100 or more birthdays I've read. So maybe take note there. In any event, what I have to say about your health. It says you're sensitive to the environment and you may suffer from allergies. Interesting. Emotionally labile. I had this the other day too. I had to look it up, and it means unstable, emotionally unstable there. And I pronounced it right then. Don't know why I can't remember how to do it now. But that being said, you might also have a low threshold for irritation. Seeming through line for this cusp period, ostensibly because of how many planets there are affecting you. They're all in contention. They're all vying for attention and gravitationally pulling on you. Perhaps. I don't know. But the psychological aspect, that haunts Scorpios, right, by and large. And they kind of mention that here, so be mindful. And it largely haunts them in ways of you take on that psychological stress and it'll manifest into physical ailments, particularly of the eliminatory organs, they said, like your colon, and I'm assuming maybe your urinary tract and such. And perhaps for you specifically on account of that area they were talking about. That popped up another day, the last day they concerned the sexually transmitted diseases. That being said, be mindful and seek your harmonic therapies, I wrote. Not to say go get a therapist. You know, a lot of people can't afford that. They don't want to do that. But I say at the very least, find a friend who doesn't mind listening to you drone on about the things you're going to repeatedly complain about. Because all too often we need to talk about it just ad nauseum before we're finally able to put it where it belongs, out on the curb with the trash. That's right. Or learn from it and build and grow from it, right? What else do I have here? Regular sexual release, highly recommended. First time they've mentioned the highly recommended part, so it's not common, but individualistic to you apparently. But regular reproductive system concern has popped up recently too, so be mindful there also. All right, there's been your health, so let's move on to some advice. All right, your advice. Reveal yourself. There are few lasting virtues in being cool. All right, serve what is best and most creative in yourself. Self-pity is poison. This might be the shortest advice I've read. Not by a lot, but by a little bit. So what do I have to say here? I had to write it in the book. I ran out of space in the notebook. Here we go. Reveal yourself. There are few lasting virtues in being cool. I would say that that's true completely, all right? Even those who are remembered for being cool, well, that's something they're remembered for, right? You can't cash in on clout when you're not there to cash in on it, am I right? So enjoy the now, ostensibly with others and someone you care about. Be cool with them. They'll appreciate it. Though they'll probably know you're putting up a facade. Who's to say? Or they probably already think you're cool, right? So you don't think they count. They count, all right? What else do I have to say here? Serve what's best in yourself, all right? And most creative as well. That one's important. I didn't write it there. Celebrate and showcase your strengths, okay? That's what makes you special, I would say, and argue. I'd imagine you already do, so it's a good reiteration if you already do, for when you don't feel like you're cutting the mustard, if you like, and you're questioning yourself, which we all, I'm imagining, do, but you might just do so a little bit more than other folks do from the sounds of it. Who's to say? That being said, it's good reiteration, all right? And what was the reiteration? Because I already forgot. Showcase your strengths, all right? Creative individuals. I say being creative is just like one of the magical things about life. And so do it as much as you can, all right? To which self-pity is poison. I like that one. It's concise, it's to the point, and it's apt, all right? For everybody, I would argue. They must think this really relates to you, however. So keep pushing through, like I said, all right? Stay feisty. Monumental struggles are said with the card. Remember that? Monumental obstacles. So rise to the occasion, I say. Make it a challenge. They're putting obstacles in front of you. Beat them down, all right? Get after them. And then throw them out with the trash. That's right. There you go. That's your advice. So with your advice having been put to bed there, as it were, for you folks that like to get sexually satisfied on the regular, let's move on to your meditation. All right, let's get serious here. The body is a prism that may be used for inward and outward projection. Interesting. I like that one. Don't know what it means, but I like it. Let's say it again here. The body is a prism that may be used for inward and outward projection. All right. Hey, there's your meditation. It's your birthday. I'm not going to throw my interpretation or spin on it for you. That's just for you. All right. With your meditation in the can, as it were, let's move on to your strengths and weaknesses. That's right. Let's hold up that objective mirror. See where we're strong. Let's see where we're weak. That's right. The objective mirror. Here we go. Your strengths. Can you guess them? Can you guess them? All right. You're imaginative. You're tasteful. And interestingly, you're sexual. Don't think that one's popped up before. There we go. It's sexual. But your weaknesses. Oh, let's flip that objective mirror around. The one that blows up your face. Shows off the blemishes on your upper lip line there. That's right. Makes you feel all insecure and such. Let's get it. Your weaknesses. You're emotionally liable. That word I can't say. Self-destructive and closed off. Ooh, those ones are strong ones. All right. And you know what? Surprisingly, I usually argue that your strengths can help you overcome them. There isn't much here with your strengths to help overcome those, except maybe imaginative. That's right. You got to imagine your way over them obstacles, even if you're the one that's putting them up. That's right. Get creative, like I said. Hey, your creativity is going to help you get through it. That's right. Just, you know what? Have some fun with it. Oh, I got this obstacle in front of me. I know I'm the one that put it there. Let's figure out a way to do it. Let's figure out a way to handle it. I can be cool for myself. That's right. I don't know. I'm kind of improv here, but you get my point, I hope. With that being said, your strengths and weaknesses having been gone over, let's turn to those born on this day. When we segue into those born, let's say something I like to examine outside of just the lottery we drew with, or you drew rather, with who shares your company, which is always interesting to see. I like to segue into the idea of figuring out our passions. And here for you, that was something that was important. So let's dive into it even more so. And I say that because oftentimes I get out in the world and I meet folks and I ask them what they do. More importantly, I ask them if they like it. A lot of times they don't. And I don't think you can blame anybody because it's just no time to figure that stuff out, especially if you got a job that just really runs you ragged, but you got to get that money in order to put the food on a table and keep the roof over your head and keep the bed sheets clean on the weekends. But you know what? There's just no time to figure out what that stuff is. So I figured this is the perfect opportunity for me to not only put the bug in your ear, maybe stir up the fires of as much, but to see what the other folks who share your company did, what got them in the book, got their stamp on the cultural zeitgeist, if you like, and maybe you can draw some inspiration from that too. In any event, I think you get the point. Let's see what we can see here with those born on this day. All right, we start off strong here and philosophical, if you like, with Voltaire. That's right, the French Enlightenment philosopher, poet, and the writer of Candide, with an E at the end of it. We also have Coleman Hawkins, or Hawk. He was a jazz tenor, saxophonist, and an innovator. I was going to say inventor, but an innovator. And you know what's cool about this? They always have jazz saxophonists, except for the past 3 days, maybe even 4 days, they haven't had one. You broke the trend, my friend. You broke the trend. Another jazz saxophonist, Hawk Coleman Hawkins. All right. We also have Rene Magritte, a Belgian surrealist painter. Stan the Man Musial, St. Louis Cardinals baseball outfielder, first baseman, a National League 7-time batting champ, and a 3-time MVP, and someone who I thought was going to be a jazz saxophonist with that name, the Man. But they usually have the cool names and nicknames as jazz saxophonists. Any event. Goldie Hawn, the film actress. We have Dr. John, the New Orleans singer and a pianist and a songwriter. We also have Sid Luckman, a football quarterback, 6-time All-Pro MVP, and he led the Bears to 4 NFL titles. We also have James DePriest, was a conductor and overcame polio. We also have Marilyn French, a feminist writer of The Woman's Room. We also have Marielle Hemingway, film actress and a model. Tina Brown, editor-in-chief of Vanity Fair and The New Yorker. We also have Kamaravalo Chandrask Haran. Hooked on Phonics, not helping with that one. An Indian mathematician. And we also have Quanzong Shu, was a Chinese writer of On Ideas and Letters. And we have Larry Mahan, a rodeo champion and a 6-time all-around cowboy, it says. Charlie Johnson, a jazz pianist and the first to break from ragtime. Well, an innovator there. Forward-looking, if you like, breaking traditions. There we go. Ralph Meeker, film actor. Phoebe Omley, an aviator and a stunt pilot. We also have Oliver Goldsmith, a British poet, historian, writer of The Vicar of Wakefield. We have Marlo Thomas, a film and TV actress, and Eleanor Powell, a dancer. Wow, that was quite the gamut of individuals there. But you know what I'd say they had in common? Creativity. That's right, creativity. I said it's the bastion of all hope. I don't think I said it that way, but you know what? That's a good one there. The bastion of all hope. It's going to help you get over those weaknesses. That's right. So keep that imagination strong. That's right. Stay elegant. Take out the trash. That's right. Hey, hopefully that put the bug in your ear, getting inspired if there was something you needed. Like I always argue that, you know what? Inspiration, our passions, chasing after them, makes life tolerable. That's right. Hopefully you've already figured them out. You've already got that on the docket, so I'm just preaching at the wall. But you know what? Reiteration, always good. Always helps to keep them fires stirred, if you like. Keep the heat going. In any event, that's been Those Born on this Day. Like I said, I hope you took some inspiration from it. And that essentially rounds out your birthday read. Except to say, your season is fall. Your sign once again is Scorpio. Of the Scorpio, Sagittarius cusp. And your quality and elements is fixed water. And what does that mean? Well, that's a different video altogether, but I'll leave it at the end card there for you if you're interested in finding out further. But this has been November 21st, the Day of Elegance. Don't know that we figured out what the perfume bottle and the pinstripe pad was for, but hey, doesn't really matter. Maybe it meant something to you. And this has been The Secret Language of Birthdays by Gary Goldschneider and you Stelfers. And I got an affiliate link for this book down in the description. Save you the hassle of having to type it in a browser, and it'll serve the channel a little bit in the bargain, which I appreciate. But like I said, maybe you're interested in diving in further. Hey, you know what? I can't recommend this book highly enough. That's why I'm doing the reads for it. I found it so interesting. But you know what? It makes a great coffee table book, a book to grace your bookshelf. If you're having company over, those elegant folks that you want to, enlighten with your new methodologies of changing tradition, you know what? Break this thing out. It's going to get the ice broken in a figurative or even a literal fashion, even if you get the hardcover there, considering the thing how girthy it is, right? Any event, that's not what's important here, advancing the book. What's important, like I said at the top, wishing you a happy birthday. That's right. So once again, I just want to say happy birthday. But for everyone else who joined us to celebrate November 21st birthday, I want to say, I hope you enjoyed yourself and you join us for your birthday reading. But lest I forget, your daily numbers. That's right. Get out there and let the universe show you it's with you on your path. Maybe pick up a perfume bottle in the bargain there. Who's to say? Or a cologne if you're a gentleman there. Gentleman type. Well, we can get the Eau de perfume for those folks too. however they say perfume there, with a little bit of elegance at the end of it. Parfum, perhaps. Like I said, get out there, see, taste, touch, feel the magic. And if you do, even just a little bit, you'll see why I recommended you do as much. We gotta have fun on our birthday, I argue. That's right. That also makes life tolerable. Stay childlike. Stay childlike. That's right. And curious. In any event, I'm droning on here. So once again, I just want to say happy birthday and take care of yourselves.